Hello, I'm Robert Forster, physical therapist and sports performance specialist. I'm very excited to bring you my comprehensive and balanced approach to fitness. Over the last 30 years, I've helped tens of thousands of people interested in creating or maintaining an active, healthy lifestyle. One of the most basic but most important concepts in keeping fit is simple. You must maintain maximum flexibility throughout your life. The long and short of flexibility is exactly that, long and short. Meaning if you don't continually stretch and lengthen your body's connective tissue elements, like tendons, ligaments, fascia, they all shorten over time. Did you ever hear someone say use it or lose it? That's never been more true than when it comes to flexibility. For physical health and mobility, you must actively fight to maintain a full range of motion at every joint. Why is stretching so important? It's absolutely critical to joint health. You need healthy joints to keep moving well. Flexibility training, which is really a fancy way of saying that you need to take your stretching seriously, helps you maintain the proper alignment of the bones where they meet at the joints. This allows for the proper posture, whether you're sitting, standing, or lying down, and for the proper movement during activities of daily living. The better you keep your bones aligned, the less stress and strain your joints will suffer over the course of your lifetime. So, are you ready to learn the basics of proper flexibility training? Okay, now I want to invite you to sit in on our flexibility tutorial with Sam and Tom. Tom, can I have you stand here for a moment, facing this way? We're doing a little posture analysis on Tom, so Sam, we can look things over. Tom's a well-trained athlete, but we all have room for improvement. So if we notice how Tom's posture is, like so many athletes now, we work a lot on the front of our body, we overdevelop the front, the pecs become tight, and that's what sets off the whole postural problem. Pecs are tight, arms are rolled in. You see the way Tom's hands are hanging in front of him and the palms are facing him. What this does is it causes his head to go forward. So the first thing is that these muscles are working now all day long to keep him up. If we can do better at changing this posture through proper exercise, more stretching in the front, more strengthening in the back, we can get these building blocks lined up better. So I'm going to ask Tom to puff up his chest as if someone was pulling him from a string to the heavens. His shoulders fall back naturally. He's not going to pinch them. I move his head back a few millimeters, and we'll see his muscles relax. Now, just keep your hand there. And Tom, go ahead back to the way you normally stand. And what are you feeling now, Sam?
Pretty tense.
Yeah, the muscles are working all day long. And that's the problem. This is what adds to Tom's stress at the end of the day, burning a lot of unnecessary energy, holding his head up. So our posture check is going to include breastbone high. The workout is going to stretch him in the front, strengthen the back of the body, and we're going to get the same thing going on. We want the head lined up over the shoulder. The building block of the head is over the shoulders over the hips. Same thing. Go ahead and go into your normal posture again. Feel here. And these are real big muscles, the erector spinae. And you see that they're working all day long for no reason as well. So once Tom can now do it by just thinking about his posture and doing a posture check, he can get those muscles to relax.
Okay.
Remember that, bad postural habits become fixed bad posture as we get older. So Tom's right at the cusp of when he can get a hold of this. We can change his body with proper stretching and strengthening. Of course, that's all built into our program here. So we got head lined up over shoulders, shoulders over pelvis. We're going to ask him to hold a little tension in his tummy, not a pelvic tilt. His legs are straight, but his muscles are relaxed. One good definition of good posture is that the least amount of muscles have to work to keep Tom standing straight. And so if these muscles are relaxed and the erector spinae relaxed, his quads should be relaxed because his knees are straight and locked, and the quads don't have to work to keep him up. So this is a great posture for Tom to start with. When we get done with him the next 16 weeks, we're going to do even better.
You'll be right as rain, Tom.
Excellent. So let's get into some of the stretching. We're going to do our standing stretches first. The first one is the head hang, and the reason it's called a head hang is because just that. We want the head to hang, we don't want to force it. We want to remember that stretching is an act of relaxation. We have to coax muscles to relax, not coerce them, not to force them. So the head hang is just that, gentle hang. We look over to one armpit, and you'll feel the stretch on the opposite side. These are great exercises that release stress, so they're great for your daily activities as well as your pre and post exercise workout. We always come back to the middle, Sam, and straight back up. Great. Then we have the cross chest. So go ahead and pull across the chest. You're going to see built into our program a lot of stretches for the areas of the body that I know as a physical therapist always break down. So we're going to have a built-in bias in this program to speak to the vulnerabilities of the human body. and they're very characteristic. We know how different athletes break down in different sports. We know how desk workers, let's switch sides. People who sit at desks all day, we know what problems they have. And I always felt that as a physical therapist, we're in a great position to create a fitness program that speaks to those vulnerabilities. Great. And relax. Now we're going to go to the penguin. And once again, we're stretching the back of the shoulder. So our hands are behind us on our pelvis, but not so far that they fall off. And the elbows come forward, proud chest, head back. And you're going to feel kind of a diffuse stretch. Do you feel that through here, guys?
Yes.
It's stretching the rotator cuff muscles, specifically the back of the rotator cuff, the back of the shoulder, which we know is always wrought with issues. And we're addressing those. We're being proactive. Well, we're going to move during the program from this stretch to the swan. And that's by making a fist here and just bringing the elbows back. We're getting a great bicep stretch and a stretch in front of the shoulder. Excellent. Good job. Just go ahead and relax. We'll come back to neutral. We're always going to posture check in between stretches. So it's chest high, head back a few millimeters, a little tension in the tummy, quads are relaxed because our knees are straight. From this position, we're going into the standing upper trap. So I'm going to grab this wrist with this hand behind me. And now I'm going to bring my head down, neutral, into the middle, and then over to looking towards that opposite arm. So we're looking to the opposite arm of which wrist we grab. And this one is a big stretch for here, right, Tom?
Oh yeah, I feel it.
Really good stress release, great for the middle of the workday, really important before and after your workouts. And relax. And now let's switch. So now we're going to hold the opposite wrist down, go down to the chest always first, and over looking into the other arm. Perfect. Getting both sides nicely, a great release. And now we're back upright. So to begin stretching the pecs out and starting to address the postural issues, our pec stretch is the next exercise. Your hands laced behind your head. It's important not to push your head forward, but to bring your elbows back, open your chest, and feel a stretch. Really important, great stretch to do at your desk, great stretch to do before and after your workouts. And relax. Good. So let's lay down now, and we're going to do the press-up exercises to start our lower body stretching. You guys would both lie here this way.
Sure.
The press-up exercise is critical to address issues of the low back. It's very important that we maintain a relaxation of all the muscles except the arms. The only muscles I want working are the arms. We want to have the butt relaxed, and a great way to do that is to turn the heels out or the toes in. It really helps you relax the gluteal muscles in the buttocks. And now we're pressing up. You see Sam's come all the way up until the point where your pelvis is about to lift and then back down. So there's no hold on this exercise. It's pressure on and pressure off. Sam's got her hands out here. I find that women are easier to do this exercise with the hands placed in this direction. Tom's elbows are back. They're both correct, whatever feels great for you. There might be a little bit of tightness in the low back. That's fine. We'll work with that. But you should only go up to your limits. Feel what's comfortable and stay within your limits. Stretching is also not a competitive sport. It has nothing to do with how the person next to you looks. It's about finding your limits and progressing them a little bit each week, each month through this program. Excellent. Now, we're going to turn on the back, and I think we'll flip head to the other end of the table. So on our back, when we do these exercises, this position we're going to come back to time and time again. When we say set your position, we mean make sure your feet are hips width apart. They're going to want to drift together, and that's going to make the exercise a little bit less effective. The first basic move I need to teach everyone is the pelvic tilt. It's nothing more than tightening your tummy muscles and pushing your low back down against the floor. In this way, keep breathing. In this way, we assure that the back is flat and safe on the mat while we're doing different exercises, moving our legs. So from this position, feet hips width apart, pelvic tilt so the back is safe, shoulders relaxed, heads relaxed. We're going to cross your right leg over your left, and I want you to pull that knee towards your opposite shoulder. The knee's not going to reach your opposite shoulder, it's just in the direction of your opposite shoulder. I'm sure Tom and Sam will tell you they're feeling a great stretch in the buttock on each side.
Yeah. I'm feeling that real well.
My work with runners has led us to the strong feeling that this exercise is essential for runners. The buttock muscles get tight with running and other athletics, and it's real important to stretch them out. We find that female athletes even get tighter here because of the shape of the pelvis. Now when we reverse the legs, we want to make sure that pelvic tilt is good and strong. So we put the legs back down, we resume the pelvic tilt, we cross one leg over the other, and now we're pulling towards the opposite shoulder. So again, you're pulling in a diagonal towards the opposite shoulder. It's okay if it doesn't reach there. It's not going to reach there, it's just in that direction. Great stretch for runners, great stretch for all of us to do before and after our workout. Okay, and let's make sure you resume your pelvic tilt, lower one leg at a time, reset your feet at hips width apart, and now we're going to go into pelvic rotation. This is nothing more than tightening the abs again into the pelvic tilt, dropping both legs over to one side. You can let everything come off the table except your shoulder, in this case on this side, and then you can stack one foot on top of the other, and then relax totally. You're melting into the table. Don't hold any tension. I'll have your arm up here probably, Sam. Great.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah. And you're feeling the stretch all through here, I take it? Good. The beginning stretch, important one. If you have any doubt, always do a few of the beginning ones, and then we'll go to the advanced form. We're going to come back up. While you're coming up, you're resuming the pelvic tilt to make sure your spine is safe. Reset your feet, and let's go to the other side.
Bob, how do we know if we're stretching too much? What's the definition of a stretch?
That's a great question, Tom. We use a principle called the subsiding tension principle. The subsiding tension principle dictates that you tune in to the tension you feel in the stretch. And as you stay in the same position, if you feel that tension increasing every second, you've overstretched. So what you want to do is then let up. If you feel it decrease, you can go deeper into the stretch. Subsiding tension principle. If you follow that, it's much more effective. You can't force a muscle to stretch, you have to coax it. And we're coming back up, resuming the pelvic tilt. Let's spread your knees again, check your position. Excellent. The next stretch we're going to do is the advanced pelvic rotation. So once again, pelvic tilt, cross one leg over the other, and now drop both legs to that side which you crossed. Keep your feet on the ground and slide your legs up. Now a lot of these stretches look a lot like other stretches you've seen, but there's built-in safety features. Now we'll go over them as we go through the stretches so you know what I consider right from wrong stretching. And that really increased the stretch, didn't it, Sam?
Should my shoulders still be on the floor over here?
Great question. Put your arm out, both arms out in fact, and I want you to look that way. So really in this position, we're getting a good pec stretch. Right, Tom? You feel that there? So if your pecs are tight, you keep that shoulder down. How far you should go is another aspect of Tom's question. In this position, you only go far enough until that shoulder lifts up. If it lifts up, you better go back. So in addition to the subsiding tension principle, it's a functional thing of the position. Great. Come back up and keep your feet crossed that way. Come back to neutral. Great. I'm sorry, keep your foot crossed that way. Okay. There's another stretch, variation of the stretch that you're going to see us do in the program, and that's to keep the legs crossed like this and now drop to this side. And it's the same thing. Perfect. You're going to look the other way. You're going to keep your shoulder down, and this gets more in the front of the leg here. Yes. And my work with a lot of athletes, just like Sam, elite runners and sprinters, forced us to become creative, to find stretches that address the problem areas that runners encounter. Let's come back up. And now we're going to uncross, feet hips width apart, pelvic tilt, cross the other leg. Excellent. Go in that direction. Good.
Now, Bob, I know so many people are going to ask questions about stretching before exercise. There's such confusion. And I know we do this because you believe and we believe we should. Can you just tell us why?
That's a great question. The question always comes up, should I stretch cold? And I say, well, when you're dead, you shouldn't stretch. But before that, you're never cold.
Right.
So your body at its natural temperature is perfectly adapted for stretching. Look, ballerinas don't go in the room and run around and break a sweat. They walk in the room, put their leg up on the bar and start stretching. They have some of the best flexibility of all athletes, so it works. So that's my answer for that, Tom, and I understand that people, can you get a better stretch when you warm up? Yes, but you get a perfectly fine stretch at body temperature, and many of us can't even afford to take the first step in running or do the first exercise without stretching muscles out. You know, you get up from your desk at work, your hip flexors are tight, your pecs are tight. You don't want to go running in that form. You want to open up your body, allow the proper mechanics that we alluded to earlier in the commentary. The key point is to not let the body off stretch. And that's why from this position, not only we're not going to let the feet go across the midline, we're actually going to pull them up towards the head a tad. Tune in to the tension of the stress. Is the stress reducing as you hold the position? Then you can go further. If it's increasing every second while you're holding the same position, you've gone too far. you need to let up. Great. Let's come back up to the midline. Put your foot at, keep your legs crossed because we're going to drop again now that way. Excellent.
And so I should pull this up, Bob, is what you're saying, towards me a
In
little
this
more?
one, it's not as critical, but you can do that some.
Okay.
I want to show you a mistake a lot of folks make with this stretch is that they'll take their feet off the ground when they're doing the stretch. So come back up, Sam. A lot of folks bring the foot off the ground and then drop to one side or the other. Not safe for the low back. We want the foot on the ground. We want the back protected in all of our exercise positions. You're going to see that constantly throughout all the routines of this exercise program. We're protecting the surrounding joints. When we're stretching, we're protecting joints while we're exercising. There's no reason to take any risk with your health. We're going to keep it as safe as possible. Great. Come on back up. And so we're going to move on. You can uncross your legs, and we're going to do the adductor stretch for the inner thigh. Again, it's the beginning form of the stretch. We'll show the more advanced form later. I'm sorry, Tom. I want you to come up one leg at a time. That's a great point, though. One leg at a time is a lot less stress on the back. I will never ask you in this whole series to have both of your legs south of 90 degrees, if you follow me, because there's too much stress on the back, too much force moment on the low back. So Tom's already gotten the position. Sam, we're going to do the same. Your hands are on your knees, not on your thighs, nowhere else. You're on your knees. The knees are still at 90 degrees, which means they're at a right angle to Sam's body. And she's gently asking the muscles to stretch by giving a little bit of overpressure. If you get on your back and yank it, you could possibly overstretch and put an undue stress on the muscle and the tendon. Great. When you come back, it's both legs here, and then it's one leg down at a time. Perfect. Now, we're going to address the front of the body, the quadriceps, so let's turn on our sides. If you can both face towards me, it'd be easier to work.
Hi, Tom.
How are you?
Doing good.
You guys know each other. Okay, quadricep stretch. Much more effective to lie down and stretch your quadriceps. Why? Because quadricep indicates four. There's four quadriceps. One of them crosses the hip. When you stand up and do a quad stretch, you let your pelvis rock forward. It takes that muscle off the stretch. Anchoring your pelvis on the ground here is going to fix the pelvis so we can stretch all four quads. I want you to reach back and grab your foot at the laces. It's another stretch where we're getting two muscles at once. We're getting the front of the shin here, anterior tibialis, which is a really important muscle for running and often the issue with shin splints, and we're stretching that. But the chief and focal point of this exercise is to get the quadricep. So everything's lined up. Tom's and Sam have their heads relaxed on their arm. You can use a pillow, that's fine if your arm is not comfortable here, but you do need to support your head. They're pulling back on that foot so that the knee is right below the hip. If they were to look down, take a look down. If you see your knee, your leg isn't far enough back.
Should my bottom leg be bent?
Yes, Sam, the bottom leg bend is a great source of stability in this position. So I would do it just like that. Great adjustment. You can tell this lady's an elite athlete. Foot's in the back, knees in the front. Now they're stable. If I push them, Tom's a little bit less stable than Sam because his leg is just a little bit far back. I would bring it this way. Good. And so we're here. Now, what you don't want to do is pull this foot up about above your buttocks. It needs to be lined up right there. This would stress the knee. We don't want to do that. The whole leg is also not in the air. So the knee's below the hip, the foot's directly behind the buttock, knees bent for stability, everything's relaxed. I want to see this arm straight. Don't want to see you holding this arm because again, we're trying to relax as many muscles as possible and hit the target muscle.
And I know, Bob, you talked about, I might feel a little knee pain on this one, but that's okay to stretch through?
Yeah, if there's a little discomfort in the knee, we can work with it on the stretch because it serves a greater good. If it hurts after the workout or it's more sore, we're going to avoid this stretch for you and work around it. But we can also advance this stretch. I can see Tom's a little bit tight in the hip. So that one quad that crosses the hip is not being directly stretched. I'm going to ask him to drop this down. Oops, sorry. No, you can put your heel there.
Yeah.
Just drop the whole leg down. So we've used this leg. A little bit tricky at home. If you don't feel stable, don't do it. He's pushing back a little bit with that one. Keeping the tummy tight so not to arch the back too much. And you guys should be feeling a good stretch in the quads all the way up to the hip where that one quad crosses the hip. You guys look great. Let's go on the other side.
Stay facing me.
All right.
I want to see your pretty face. Come on.
I feel this.
And let's do it again. Grab the foot at the laces. Pull back. Heels behind buttock. Do a posture check at home. Is my heel behind my buttock? Is my knee directly below my hip, not up in the air? If I look down, can I see the knee? My bottom leg's bent for stability. All good. Now, a lot of folks also ask questions about, see if you can straighten out that leg, Sam, because it was on the arm.
There we go.
Sam, see if we can straighten out your arm. It was better on the other. Yeah.
There we go.
So a lot
it
less
now.
muscle working, right, Sam?
Yeah.
We don't want that muscle working the whole time. That tends to make the stress spread to the rest of the body. We want everything relaxed as much as possible.
Relax my guns. That's what you're telling me. Keep the
Excellent.
guns under control.
Excellent. Okay, and then we're going to modified hurdler stretch. So let's go into a sitting position, and I want you both to be facing away from me, if you would. So if you can feet that way, and your feet that way, that'd be great. So let's put the leg further from the front of the stage. Yeah, so bend this leg.
On the other one, sure.
Actually, I'm sorry, go the other way, Sam. Okay, this position is to stretch really the hip and the back. So the first thing I'm going to ask Sam and Tom to do is to bend their front leg. I don't really want to stretch the front hamstring. I want both legs down, both arms down, head down. Go ahead, Sam, and reach for the outside of your ankle, head down. Now you can see a difference in the posture here. Tom is more straight up, not as flexible as Sam. She looks better to this position for me than Tom. If you look like this at home, you might want to wait a few weeks into the program to start addressing it. What I'm really trying to do is to get a stretch here on the hip on this side of your body.
How's that better?
Yeah. So the front knee's bent, the bottom foot is lined up with the knee, and you'll feel it more. Bring your foot out, Tom. Bring that foot out that way. And you're going to feel it more now in the buttock, hopefully, and hip and low back on the opposite side. That's where you want it. Work within your own limits. If it doesn't feel good on your back, skip it. Let's go to the next stretch. In fact, it's a great tip for all the stretching. If you're doing a stretch, doesn't feel quite right, go back to the tutorial, look at make sure you got your technique right. If it still doesn't feel right, skip it and go to the next one. It's fine. Excellent. Let's switch legs. Another question that often comes up is how long to hold a stretch. So we're going to instruct you to do one repetition for a 5 or 10 second hold to release the muscle. This is what we're going to do before and after our workouts. This prepares your body for the workout. If you find an area of tightness in your body that needs further work, that's you do it at night. You can hold the stretches longer. You can do more repetitions. So you can hold this on a gentle stretch for 20 or 30 seconds. Before and after the workout, 5 or 10 second hold releases the muscles, releases the tension from the day or from sleeping, and you're ready to work out. Great, you guys look good. Okay, let's come back now, and we're gonna go to all fours position. On this all fours position, called quadruped as well, you're gonna see a lot in the program. So while we're here, let's talk about it. We want the hands and knees closer than further. No reason to be stretched out. I'm gonna even ask Sam, yeah, that was a good adjustment. Even more, Sam. Even closer. No reason to be stretched out. We want your base right under you. So hands are right below shoulders. They're not in front or out, right below. The knees are right below the hips. Good position. We're going to use this first for a stretch called a cat back. I would ask you to drop your head down and let it hang. We never force our head down. We just let the weight of your head and gravity's effects pull it down. So can you go down further, Sam, to that head?
Am I better?
Yeah, I don't want to force it. I just want to make sure you're at your limit. Good. Okay, strong pelvic tilt. So you tighten your tummy, you push up from here, the back rounds out, the shoulder blades separate, and now we're getting a great stretch through the back, the neck, even the lower back. To increase it, we slide back. Now keep the cat back, keep the cat back, slide back, put your hands out a little more. Great position just for the low back. I want you to take your one hand and walk it over and hold your other hand down. Good. And pull back through the buttock here. So the hand that's anchored, you want to pull back through that buttock or hip. Sam, where do you feel that?
I feel it right where you said, right through the side.
Yeah, and you might get a little low back, a lot of the back of the shoulder. Again, you've seen me do 3 or 4 stretches for the back of the shoulder. Why? Because it's an area of constant concern. Issues always arise with the rotator cuff being too tight and too weak in the back. So we're going to stretch it, we're going to strengthen it, we're going to make the shoulder joint work properly. Great. Let's walk your hands over to the other side. Anchor down again. Now pull through the opposite butt cheek. Head down, Tom. Great. You're feeling it in here?
A lot, yeah, my back and shoulder.
Wherever you feel it, that's the tightest link.
Yeah.
As that area loosens up, you'll start to feel it further down in other areas. Stretching is a chronic exercise. You want to do it regularly, you want to do it often. Easy to do, don't need any equipment, don't need anyone else. Great for relaxation, great before bed for recovery. Good, excellent. Now from this position, we're gonna come up to kneeling. So, let's put one foot out in front, and I wanna make sure always that your foot is in front of your knee, because we're gonna lunge forward. At home, what I'm doing here is a great idea. You can use a prop, put your hand on your desk, on a chair to help guide you. If your knee is sore, use a towel under your knee or even a pillow. If we can get you into this kneeling position comfortably, it's going to be very effective. We're also going to give you alternatives to work around this position. But for now, both hands are on the front knee, and we lunge forward, keeping the trunk upright. How do you see this exercise done wrong all the time? Is here. The muscle we're stretching, the iliopsoas, is a deep flexor, which originates all the way back on your lumbar spine. And so if I bring my lumbar spine forward, I'm doing nothing more than relaxing the stress or the tension on the muscle. Where do you guys feel it?
Right through the flexor.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's the hip flexor. Really important muscle. When the hip flexor's tight, you see this kind of posture, horrible for the back, a lot of stress. Now, let's rock back and straighten out your front leg for the hamstring stretch. This is one position we can use for hamstring stretching. We'll show you others. And all I want you to do here is to hinge at the hips. Put your hands right here, guys. There's a difference between bending the back and hinging at the hips. This is bending the back, a no-no in exercise. Hinging at the hips is here, the back is flat and safe. You guys feel the stretch?
I feel it. Tight
Great
today.
great time to focus on the subsiding tension principle of stretching. This is a muscle that's going to talk to you. You're on stretch, you feel the tension. Is that tension increasing or decreasing as you hold it? If it stays the same, we're all good. If it decreases, you can go deeper, like Sam just did. If you feel it increasing while you're holding the same position, you're overstretching. Back up, let the muscle relax, let it do its thing. Now, in that position, we can also get the calf. Should your knee be straight? Yes. In this position, your knee is straight, not locked, but straight. You saw their hands here, but they weren't pressing down on their knee. They're just holding it, and it's really keeping a proud chest, straight back. So from this position, while we have the hamstring on stretch, we're going to bring the toes to the head. And you're going to feel that stretch in your calf and your hamstring. Don't use any dirty words. Great to feel that stretch. Again, tune into it. Is it increasing? Better let up a little. If it decreases, let's pull further. You guys look great. Okay, let's now switch legs. And while we do, I want to point out a few other tips. When we're in the kneeling position, just like when we're in all fours, we want knees spread apart. So I want to see distance between Tom's front foot and back knee. I don't want them any way close lined up. I want them at a good tracking distance.
I felt I was going to topple over, so I made an adjustment.
Yeah, it's all about balance. You should feel balanced here. However, if it doesn't feel great, use a prop at home. Breathe and relax. Let's straighten the leg out. Hinge at the hips. Hands gently on the leg. Get the toes relaxed at first. You guys look good. Then we bring the toes to the head and get a stretch. The knees straight but not totally locked. Feel a good stretch there. Perfect. Excellent. Good. Now we're up. We're going to show a modified form of that hamstring stretch. So I'm going to have you both stand here in front of your table. Put your foot up on the table. Good. So you're facing directly this way, Sam, so move that foot there. So you're 100% facing your foot. Great. You're going to do the same. I want that foot facing me. Great. Excellent. Again, it's a low surface. I can put my foot up on a bar here. Don't have to. I just have to get a gentle stretch. I'm going to hinge at the hips. Back is flat and safe. Hands are here. Eyes are gazing about 6 or 7 feet in front of you on the floor. You tune into the stretch once again. So if kneeling is not great for your knees, you don't feel real comfortable, this is a modified position that works very well. It's called a standing hamstring stretch. Follow all the same subsiding tension principles and you'll be safe in this position. Feels good?
Yeah.
Now, you can, from this position, turn 90 degrees this way. Keep that foot upright, Tom. And now you should feel it in this inner thigh. If you want to increase it, you can bend this knee. So if you have any back issues, you're better off bending this knee. If you have a little knee soreness, a better adjustment is to come straight up and side bend there. Excellent. Let's do the other leg so you guys don't walk around in circles when we leave here. Show me the good hinge. Put your toes facing forward. Bottom toe facing forward. Excellent. Hinge at the hips. Excellent. And you see, this is not a competition. Wherever your position feels the best. Tom doesn't have to go as far as Sam does.
You hear that, Tom? We're not competing here.
I'm competing against you, man.
Better get lower then.
There's a lot of medals at home, Tom.
Yeah, I know. I got a ways to go.
Great. Now turn 90 degrees to your side again, and your lower foot faces 90 degrees. Keep this upper foot up. Great. Bend your knee and feel more in the adductor. Great. You can come back up. Side bend. Yeah.
Again, Bob, so many people think that this isn't important before. They're going to, say, oh, I don't need this before workout. They absolutely do.
Absolutely do. People say to me, I start slowly. Again, the number one reason we stretch before our workouts is to ensure that we have the proper mechanics in the workout. So if I can't attain the proper mechanics of my sport, whether it be swimming or volleyball or tennis or even running, then I'm not in the right position. There's going to be a whole lot more stress on my body and specifically the joints. So to preserve your joint health, you're stretching before every workout. After every workout, your muscles are tight and they're pumped up. You need to return them to their normal resting length, so your posture's here. That's why the old adage, the bodybuilders were all like this and bent over, because they never stretched. Now we see bodybuilders who stretch, they still have great posture, they work out, they stretch afterwards, they leave their body in that lengthened position. It also helps you recover. When you stretch your muscles taut, you're kind of wringing the waste products out of the vascular tissue that is embedded in your muscle. So it's great for recovery. Do it before, do it after, do it before bed. Before bed is when you're going to get a great relaxation. You do a stretch, work on your breathing, your posture, do your stretching, you're going to sleep a lot better. One last stretch is the tricep stretch. We're going overhead here. Make sure you keep your head straight up, hand on your elbow, pull your arm down in the direction of your fingers, and you'll feel a stretch in the back of your arm.
Feel what?
And then you can side bend to increase it a little bit more, and then back up. Other side, heads up, don't deviate, pull over first before your side bend, and now side bend and increase the stretch. You feeling that further down, Tom, into your lat?
All through the lat, the back.
Safe position. Again, if shoulder feels a little bit tight, then we better back off a little bit. Great, you guys did a great job. Thank you for helping me. I hope you guys learned a lot about stretching. We're going to bring it to you now in all of our programs. We'll see you in the workout room.